Hello guys, got a trade recap for you today. Bear with me because I don't feel 100% today, but I'm going to try and get through it. And also look out tomorrow morning for some big news dropping regarding the MagicFX course, maybe. But yeah, let's get into this. So we're on the daily here. And as you can see, this month has been a bit of a mess. It's just ranged sideways. And yeah, we've been stuck in this range for pretty much the whole of December, since the end of November actually. And at first, when it first started, I was like, right, I'm not trading that, I'm gonna wait till it breaks out. And then it just went on and on and on and on. And I kind of had to develop my strategy to look more at substructure and playing the edges of ranges, because if you look even on the daily, you can see if you just played the edges of the range, you could buy once it gets towards the bottom half and sell once it gets towards the top half. There were a good few trades you could have got in. Once you know it starts to move sideways like that, you kind of know, you can predict quite easily, and it's high probability just to take trades at the edges. And it goes the same for lower time frames as well. So if we look at the 4 hour, you can see clearer. I mean, we had our swing high here, our swing low here. Every time you got a break down here, it's just moved in that range sideways the whole time. So you could have got in towards the bottom here, you could have got in here at the top, in here again at the top, in here again at the bottom, and yeah, it's just gone that way the whole time. So with that in mind, we're gonna look at trading a little bit differently, and this recap is more, I guess, maybe advanced, but really it's all the same kind of stuff. And it's basically playing in ranges. So if we go now, if we have a look at what's happened on the 4 hour, so we've just been through it, but the last thing we had was a break of structure to the downside, and just before that we had quite a strong break of structure to the upside. And that, again, I think I've said this before, is if you get a strong break of structure to the upside and then a strong break to the downside, price does tend to move sideways for a while. That indecisiveness, so you can kind of predict that, and then just put on this tool that I've used before, and play, longs within this bottom 25% and shorts within this top 25%, and that will get you quite far. But if we go down to the 15-minute, we can see, like, we haven't had an actual swing for ages since, see, we broke here, this was the swing low, and we just managed to break and close below that, and then because the range between here, which was the new swing high, and the low was still huge, it's still got a lot of room to play around in. So when the range is so huge on the 15-minute, because of news or whatever, what you can do is start to look at substructure. So you look at look in this structure, because you can also see, like, if we look at price before this huge drop, look at sort of the size of the candles and the speed it was moving. And then you look after this drop, it's kind of the same. So if you just ignored this, and then say you saw this move up, and then here would be a valid high for me because this candle closed below this one, and then it was closed above again. So I'd go, all right, that's a high, that's a low, that's a high. And then you can just sort of start to see this substructure and play that, because if you were looking at that as your current range, looking for a continuation long, so we're playing the premium and discount of that, You know, you could look to get in any of these zones that are in the discount, then look to long from there, and that would work. So you can kind of start to just look at price, you know, ignore that, like keep it in mind for the long term, but just start to delve into this substructure stuff, just so you can get involved in something. You don't have to, but it's always good to. Again, my trading view's slowing down since the update, still annoying me, and I have to keep opening and closing the watch list. But anyway, so if we get to more current price, and we can kind of see what's been going on, let me rewind it to where I would have woke up, started trading at 7 AM. Okay, so what's gone on then? So if we look over here and we just mark out the structure, so we would have had a low, I guess the high would be here, the low would be here, so we've effectively broke substructure there, and then again create a new high here, and again it's very wiki. In hindsight, we can clean it up by having that, and then we've got, see again, you've got the old V shape on the 15-minute, mitigates it and drops down. So sorry, your low would be there. We'll get into the trade in a minute. I'm just sort of setting the scene and trying to explain ranges and stuff, and substructure. So we can look at that, and then we've got a low here, valid low. If you haven't seen my how to map structure video, look at that. This will make a bit more sense in how I'm looking at this substructure over here. Zoom in a little bit and have a look. Right, and we can see that we're just sort of playing around. I don't think that, did that close above? Sorry. That did, so that was a high as well. I started a bit too far back here because it's going to take a while. Anyway, we broke above here. Then we broke here. And then I might even fast forward this bit. We broke above here. And then it wasn't until here that we had our high cemented. Then nothing breaks below that, so the most recent low was this one, and that doesn't break until here. So at this current point in time, right, we've got our high here and our low here. So what's happened? We've quite with a lot of momentum and strength broken a high, and then we've broken a low. So it's almost a repeat of what we've seen on the higher time frames. So what do we expect once we've done that? Well, we expect price to range up and down for a little while before deciding what it wants to do. Oh, mark that up. But so yeah, so what we want to do that then is put on our swing tool and think, right, so once price gets up here, I'm happy to short. And if you were up at 1:45 AM in the United Kingdom, or you know, a normal time in a different country, then you could have shorted from there and you'd have done very well. And look, you see it's just tapped into that top 25 and gone down. And if there was an entry on the 1 minute, then good luck to you. And now we can see we've entered the bottom 25%. So you kind of course you don't just want to set an entry on nothing here, but you can kind of look at what it's tapped into. You can see it's also, so we've had a 15-minute change of character right there. It's not a significant break. This wasn't a proper high or anything, but it's still something. It's a change of character. So kind of want to see, oh, what's it reacted to do that. And you can see it's been very zoomed in, but it's this unmitigated bit of wick here that is tapped into and then change character just on the 15-minute. So this will be coming up to 7 AM. So now I'll be thinking, right, I'm interested in longing from this area. Why? Because we've just built up that story that we've broken a high, we've broken a low, price has been very sideways for a while, and we're in an area where price could look to go up, at least to, you know, these sort of highs. So I would now go on the 1 minute and see if we can make that happen. So looking on the 1 minute, what have we got? We've got that was a low that would have been taken there, and then that would have been the high. So really we're just looking, our current 1 minute low is here, current 1 minute high would be this one right here. So ideally at the moment what we'd want is for this high to go. Now that's quite a big high, so it could mean you miss whatever, but you know, if those are our rules, those are our rules. So play price forward, let's have a look, see what's going on. Pardon me, there was a slight interruption there, but anyway, so what have we got? We've got a slight sweep of this low here, not a break yet, so we're still bullish on the 1 minute, but yeah, we could see a change of character or a full break of structure, and that's what we want to see before getting involved. So let's see what price does, and again just swept below, and now we have had a boss, but it hasn't really changed much of the structure. Our high is still up here. What you could see now though is a change of character, because we have had price come down, make a high, and make this low. So if price broke here, it wouldn't be a 1 minute break of structure because our actual high is still up here, but you would have a change of character, and that's the kind of thing that it's up to you whether you want to trade those or not. And for me, it would only be in really high probability areas where it also matches up with pro trends on all time frames. And if you're looking at timing as well, session timing, so if it's like a London Open or something like that. But really, most of the time, I want to be looking for the breaks of the actual structure on the 1 minute. So yeah, let's move along. So obviously here, you get that change of character on the 1 minute. So it would have been that high, and it's broken quite aggressively. So if you were mad and just wanted to play that, like for me, you could take those all day and take a billion losses. In this scenario, it happened to have worked out, but you know, that's not something that I would take. There wasn't a particular pattern. All it was strength and a decent timing being close to London. But I'd want to see a little bit more. And so now you can see we've got another break. And looking at this, you know, that looks a bit better for me. You're showing bullish order flow, and you can actually, you know, you could get in on this one if you wanted to. The 1.6 pip stop loss. But again, I really want to show you the highest probability setups in these. So again, you could take this and you'll get tagged in it. But for me, it's not quite what I'm after. So moving on, we can see now we've had a wick break of our 1 minute high, and we've also had this bullish order flow going on. So it's looking quite tasty. Now what you can also see is we've had this lovely V shape, which is also a flip from here. That's quite a big POI, so we'll use the EQ. Now, so if we actually got a break above the 1 minute high, I'd be really interested in getting involved. Okay, so now you can see we've got a nice looking entry. Also, if you wanted to see that as a bit of liquidity, that is also valid as well. So we've got a really quite a nice looking entry to take a trade from there. Let's get it on the EQ. Yeah, 1.7, that'll do. And let's see. So this is, you know, an ideal setup for me, and we'll see if we get tagged in. And there we go, price does just tag us in there, and we have created a new high here. So we're looking for this high to break in order to lock in some profit. Okay, so what do we do? So again, as it has been in a lot of time frames, price moves very sideways, and before it completely goes to the upside there. So at this point, I'm locking in taking off about half the risk on this trade right there, which is fine. So looking, see how it goes. You know, if you hadn't gotten in on this one, and you see prices now, go on the 15 minute, prices now broken structure or change character, even a confirmed change character on the 15 minute here. So getting in on continuations, as you can see, we've had the first break of the 15 minute here, and then the second break with momentum. That's our continuation entry for 15 minute breaks. So if you didn't have any risk on the table for this one, I'd quite happily place an order on here. I'd probably go for the swing on this one. 1.5 pips. Yeah, that's another nice entry. And in this case, it works out nicely. So again, there's another entry for you, and for me is very valid. So we can now lock our profit for this one in just there. This one would still have full risk on the table. Now we've created a new high here. Now the management part of this video, you know, it's going to be the same as all my other trade videos, but hey, there you go. Now at this point, we would be able to lock in again, a bit smaller, under this low. So this one would be locked in at 3.8, and this one running at 4.8. So happy days there. Let's just see how she plays out. We get another, no we don't, not yet. Price comes down. Now at this point, would I be looking to get an entry off of this? Yes, I would, because I've got all my risk off the table. So I would be happy because we can see the momentum kicking in on the 15-minute. We're not in the top 25 yet. We are getting close to this supply zone, but yeah, I'd still be looking to get involved if it lets us. It actually doesn't, but we do get a lovely bit of action to the upside there, so we can lock in more profits to here now. If we look at that, 5.8 on that one and 6.65 on that one, and then you're absolutely loving life when you see that. And again, you can just lock in more profit. Now, this was really nice for trailing stops, this price action, because you could just keep locking in. It wasn't breaking any 1 minute lows, wasn't even trying to sweep any liquidity. It just kept going. 12.8 on both of those now. If we look where we are on the 15-minute, we've broken this and we are in this area now, so I'd be a bit more cautious to see what price has done. There probably would be another entry, but if you see, yeah, it still just does not break these lows at all. It does mitigate that, so there would be an entry there. And then just continues to absolutely go mad to the upside. Not really much more to lock in there, so I wouldn't actually change the stop loss. But yeah, I mean, you could, if you wanted to, manually close the trades sort of in this area, because you know you could be absolutely happy with what that's done. That's made a big aggressive move up there, and it's you know swept all these sort of relative equal highs. So you know, if you close the trade there, no one would blame you, I don't think. But if we're sticking to our rules, we will stay in the trade and see where it takes us. And again, we get a break to the upside. So you'd just be laughing to yourself at this point. And obviously, that's a bit in the way. So then we're locking in a little bit more profit there. So that is 15.8 on that one, 15.4 on that one, and then see if we can get any more. Price comes down. Again, that sideways movement. Do we get any more breaks? And there we have another break of structure. So yeah, you might need some big bollocks to hold through all this. But you know, also what you can see again is mitigated the extreme and would have given you another entry, same way it would have done here. So there's always you know, there's lovely continuations to get involved in when price is showing this kind of momentum. And obviously I had the bias yesterday that price was going to be more sideways than it has been, and this is a great thing about trailing your stop as well. Sometimes if you was to set a target for, you know, just here or whatever, price, and then price just goes on to just absolutely trend and go wild. If you set your target and you take profit, obviously you're happy with whatever target you set, because that's that's what you wanted to get, and that's what you got. But by trailing your stop loss behind, you know, swing structure, you can end up with more than you even bargained for, more than you wanted. And it's great when prices like this. This is where you make your money with trailing stops, because it just plays right to your hand, and you know, it's like it's magic, really, in a way, lack of a better word. So anyway, let's see if we can lock in any more. It's always iffy when you start seeing all this. But yeah, again, another break. You can lock in some more profit. So under there now, like that. So this one 20R, this one 21R, and yeah, we'll keep going. So now we're really hoping, what you hope in these situations is that you get a little low made here and then a break, and then you can just lock in a high amount. But let's see, when it goes up that high and then mugs you off a bit, you can get a bit scared. But we're still going strong. But our high was up here, and I'm not sure we actually got any more breaks. Oh no, we did. We broke there again. Can't really lock in much more profit on that. Now that is what you want to see with these trailing stops. Price just slowing down a bit and then breaking again, so you can actually lock in something delicious. So, oh, for goodness sake, go away. So yeah, we'd be locked in under that and under there. So what we got, 28.8 and 31R on that one. That's 50R. And then she just goes mad again. It just makes you chuckle to yourself when you see this kind of thing. If you go on the 15-minute now, you know, you're really in quite an area here. Even on the 4-hour, you look at that and you think, right, okay, maybe I should lock in something. But you either could or you couldn't. You know, if you were to take that up to there and you saw you had 42R on that one and 46R on that one, you know, no one's gonna say you're an idiot if you close that. But it's up to you. It's up to you in these situations if you want it to carry on or not. It's when it starts to, when the numbers get silly like that, it's because remember, this isn't, we're not partialing here. This full volume. If you got a, you know, if you've got 4 FTMOs and you're in this situation, even if you've got 100k FTMO, you know, that's 80 odd grand that's sitting there. So no one's gonna judge you for just closing that then and there. But then you've got to ask yourself, what is your limit with that sort of thing, and how much money can you handle? And it's all psychological stuff. If you want the big trades, then you've got to learn to handle these big moves. But anyway, I digress. So I don't think she actually broke to the upside again from here. We'd have had we might have just stayed in there, but I think it does eventually break down. So yeah, like I said, that is, you know, it's a lot of profit to let go, but it's also a lot of profit to gain, and you'd have gained more than you would have if you just set a target to, you know, the 15-minute highs at the time or whatever. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that trade recap. I hope that made sense to you with regards to trading ranges and substructure, all that. I can't really talk. But yeah, I hope you all have a really good Christmas, and look out for the big news tomorrow morning. Going to be dropping some competition announcements for Christmas Eve. So yeah, I hope you're all well. Hope you don't catch any illnesses. And yeah, stay strong, stay cool, and stay magic. Right.